Back in 1630, there was a samurai named Koji who practiced harder than everyone else at his training school. 12 hours every single day. He pushed himself as hard as he could. He never took breaks. After just 3 months, he passed out. He wasn't hurt. He just had no energy left at all. But here's the weird part. His teachers were men in their 50s and 60s. They also trained 12 hours every day. And they never even looked tired. What was the difference? They knew 3 special rules. 3 secrets about how the mind controls energy. Koji was going to learn these secrets, or he might not survive. By the time you finish hearing this, you'll know them too. And you'll finally understand why you've been losing energy your whole life without even knowing it. Chapter 1. The Collapse. Koji woke up one morning and couldn't even move. He wasn't paralyzed. He just felt completely empty, like someone had drained every bit of energy out of him while he slept. He was 22 years old. He was a samurai training under Lord Tada's best program. 6 months earlier, hundreds of people had tried out, and he was one of the few chosen. This was the biggest opportunity of his life. And he was failing. It wasn't because he lacked skill. His sword work was really good. His technique was sharp. He worked harder than almost anyone. But his energy? Gone. Every morning he forced himself to get out of bed. Every training session felt like trying to swim through thick mud. Every night he fell asleep so deeply that he didn't even dream. The other students seemed okay. They trained hard, got some rest, and came back strong the next day. Koji trained hard and got weaker every single day. Koji, instructor Hideaki's voice cut through the morning air. You look like a dead man. When's the last time you actually felt alive? Koji tried to stand up straight. His legs shook under him. I'm okay, sensei. I'm ready to train. No, you're not okay. You're destroying yourself. Sit down. Koji Saturday. Just stopping the effort of standing made him feel relieved. Hideaki looked about 55 years old. His hair was gray and tied back. His face was weathered, but his eyes were sharp, clear, and full of energy. He'd already trained for 4 hours before sunrise. He'd train another 8 hours during the day. And he looked more alive than Koji felt after sleeping 10 hours. Tell me what you do every day, Hideaki said. I wake up at 4 o'clock. I train until breakfast. I train after breakfast until lunch. I train after lunch until dinner. I study sword theory. I practice meditation. Then I sleep. How long do you sleep? 6 hours. Sometimes 5. I want to use as much time as possible for training. And how do you feel when you're training? Koji paused. Then he admitted, exhausted. Like I'm moving through water. Every single strike takes so much effort. But I keep pushing. And you think that's dedication? You think that's what a warrior is supposed to do? Yes, sensei. Hideaki smiled, but it was a sad smile. No, that's ignorance. You're mixing up effort with results. You're mixing up exhaustion with progress. And you're about to wreck your body and mind because nobody taught you the 3 rules. What 3 rules? The rules that separate exhausted warriors from unstoppable ones. The difference between me training 12 hours a day at age 55 with unlimited energy and you training 12 hours a day at age 22 and falling apart. Koji leaned forward even though he was exhausted. Please teach me. I will. But first you need to understand something basic. Energy doesn't come from your body. It comes from your mind. Your body isn't the problem. Your mind is. And until you fix how your mind handles energy, your body will keep failing you. I don't understand. Hideaki stood up. Come watch the other students. They walked to the main training area. 50 samurai were practicing forms. Some moved with smooth, powerful movements. Others, like Koji had been doing, moved with their teeth gritted and muscles tight. Watch Takumi. Hideaki pointed to a student going through sword movements. See his face? Tight. His jaw is clenched. His shoulders are tense. He's forcing every single movement, fighting his own body. That's what you do. Then he pointed to another student. Now watch Riku. See the difference? His face is relaxed. His shoulders are loose. He's moving with power, but it looks easy. He's working with his body, not against it. But they're doing the same moves. The same activity. Exactly. Same movements. Completely different energy used. Takumi will be exhausted in an hour. Riku can keep going for 6 hours. Same physical work. Different mental approach. That's what I'm teaching you. How your mind controls your energy. Hideaki turned back to Koji. The first rule is this: energy follows attention. Wherever your mind goes, your energy goes with it. Right now, your attention is scattered everywhere. You're worried about doing well. You're comparing yourself to others. You're judging your own movements. You're thinking about yesterday's mistakes. You're worrying about tomorrow's challenges. Your mind is everywhere except where you actually are. But I'm focused on training. No, you're focused on thoughts about training. That's completely different. When you swing your sword, is your mind on the sword itself? Or is it on whether the swing is good enough? Whether your teacher is watching? Whether you're improving fast enough? Koji realized with a shock. The thoughts. I'm always stuck in my thoughts. Exactly. And every thought that isn't focused on the present moment is an energy leak. A tiny hole draining your life force constantly. You have 1,000 tiny holes. By the end of each day, you're empty. How do I stop the leaks? That's what the 3 rules teach. But we'll start with the first one. Energy follows attention. Master your attention, master your energy. How? By learning to put your attention exactly where you want it and nowhere else. By learning to notice when it wanders and bringing it right back. By training your mind the same way you train your body. With practice on purpose. Hideaki pointed to the training ground. Starting tomorrow, you'll do something new. Before every training session, you'll spend 5 minutes doing absolutely nothing. Just sitting, watching your breath, noticing when your attention wanders, bringing it back. This teaches your mind to focus. That's it? Just watching my breath? Just watching your breath is harder than fighting 10 men with swords. Your mind will fight you. It will rebel. It will find 1,000 reasons why this is stupid. But if you stick with it, you'll discover something amazing. He walked away, leaving Koji alone on the training ground. Koji sat down. He closed his eyes. He started watching his breath. Within 10 seconds, his mind was thinking about dinner. He brought it back. 5 seconds later, he was replaying this morning's conversation. He brought it back. 3 seconds later, he was worrying about tomorrow's test. He brought it back. Again and again and again. 5 minutes felt like an entire hour. But when Hideaki came back, something had changed. Koji felt clearer. Not more energized exactly, but less drained. Like he'd stopped a leak he didn't even know was flowing. How do you feel? Hideaki asked. Different. Lighter somehow. Good. That's the first rule starting to work. Tomorrow we'll add the second rule. Resistance creates exhaustion. But today you've taken the first step. Your attention is your energy. Learn to control one, you control the other. Chapter 2. The first principle, energy follows attention. Days 1 to 7, attention training. Koji started every training session with 5 minutes of breath watching. Day 1, his mind wandered every 3 seconds. 8,000 thoughts. Constant noise. Day 2, his mind still wandered all the time, but he noticed it faster. He brought his attention back quicker. Day 3, he got his first glimpse of what Hideaki meant. For maybe 5 seconds, his mind was completely quiet. Just breath. Just being there. And in those 5 seconds, everything was crystal clear. Day 4, during sword practice, he tried an experiment. He put his full attention on the sword. Not on doing it right. Not on who was watching. Just the sword. Its weight. Its balance. Its movement. The form he'd been struggling with for weeks suddenly flowed easily. You just discovered something, Hideaki said, appearing beside him. When your attention is unified, your body knows exactly what to do. When your attention is scattered, your body has to work extra hard to make up for it. That compensation takes enormous energy. Unified attention takes almost none. But how do I keep my attention unified during the chaos of real combat? That's advanced training. Right now, you're learning the basic rule. Let me show you where your energy actually goes. Hideaki drew in the dirt. Scattered attention. Worrying, 20% energy. Comparing yourself to others, 15% energy. Judging yourself, 15% energy. Regretting the past, 10% energy. Worrying about the future, 15% energy. Actual task, 25% energy. Unified attention. Actual task, 100% energy. See, Hideaki said, most people only give 25% of their energy to what they're actually doing. The other 75% is wasted on mental noise. No wonder they're exhausted. So the samurai who trained 12 hours straight had unified attention. Yes, they gave 100% to the present moment. They weren't thinking about how tired they were. They weren't thinking about how much longer they had to go. They weren't thinking about whether they were doing well enough. They were just there. Sword, strike, breath, movement. Nothing else. But isn't that really hard? Incredibly hard. That's why it's a skill. That's why we train it. Your mind has been running wild your entire life. Teaching it to focus is like teaching a wild horse to let someone ride it. It fights back. But once it's trained, it becomes the most powerful tool you have. Day 5. Koji noticed something shocking during meditation. A single worry appeared in his mind. What if I fail the upcoming test? And his body immediately tensed up. His energy dropped. He actually felt his life force physically drain away just from one thought. Sensei, he said after practice, I watched a single worried thought appear, and my whole body changed. My energy disappeared instantly. Hideaki smiled. Now you're seeing it. Thoughts aren't just mental. They're physical. Every thought triggers a chain reaction in your body. Worry thought equals stress hormones, tight muscles, shallow breathing, and energy depletion. And most people have hundreds of these thoughts every single day without even noticing. So by controlling my attention, I'm controlling my entire nervous system. Your energy, your endurance, everything. Day 6. During sparring, Koji's opponent struck at his head. Normally, Koji would tense up, worry, calculate, and strategize, all while defending himself. This time, he put his full attention on the incoming strike. Nothing else. His body moved perfectly. Block, counter, strike, fluid, effortless. You just experienced Mushin, Hideaki said. No mind. When your attention is so unified that there's no thought between seeing and acting. That's the goal. That's the state where energy use is minimal and effectiveness is maximum. Day 7. Koji realized something huge. He'd been training the same number of hours as before, but he wasn't exhausted anymore. Not even close. He had energy at the end of the day. The only difference? 5 minutes of breath watching before each session, and deliberately practicing unified attention during training. Sensei, this is incredible. I feel like I've unlocked a secret. You have. But this is only the first rule. Energy follows attention. You're learning to control your attention so energy stops leaking. But there's a second rule that's even more important. Resistance creates exhaustion. What does that mean? It means most of your energy isn't lost to physical work. It's lost to mental resistance. Fighting what is. Wishing things were different. Arguing with reality. And tomorrow you'll learn how to stop. Chapter 3. The second principle, resistance creates exhaustion. Days 8 to 14, acceptance training. Today, Hideaki said, you'll do something that will seem dumb. But trust me. He handed Koji a heavy wooden bucket filled with water. Hold this with your arms straight out. See how long you can last. Koji lifted the bucket with his arms extended. Within 30 seconds, his muscles were burning. Within a minute, They were trembling. Within 90 seconds, it was agony. He dropped it. How did that feel? Hideaki asked. Painful. Exhausting. Now do it again. But this time, don't resist the feeling. Don't wish it would stop. Don't tense up against the burn. Just accept it completely. Feel it without fighting it. Koji lifted the bucket again. The burn came right away. But instead of tensing up against it, he relaxed into it. He just observed it. He accepted it. Something incredible happened. The feeling was still there, but the suffering decreased by half. He lasted 2.5 minutes before dropping the bucket. What the hell just happened? Koji asked. Hideaki smiled. You discovered that pain and suffering are two different things. Pain is a feeling. Suffering is resistance to that feeling. When you stopped resisting, suffering went down. But the pain, the actual physical feeling, stayed the same. Your energy use dropped dramatically. So all this time I've been spending huge amounts of energy resisting discomfort, fighting it, wishing it would stop, and that resistance drains me faster than the actual discomfort ever could? Yes. Hideaki drew in the dirt again. Discomfort with resistance. Physical sensation, 30% energy. Mental resistance, 70% energy. Total, 100% exhaustion. Discomfort with acceptance. Physical sensation, 30% energy. Mental resistance, 0% energy. Total, 30% exhaustion. This is why old masters can train longer than young students. Not because their bodies are stronger, because they've stopped resisting. They accept being tired. They accept pain. They accept difficulty. And without resistance, those feelings don't drain their energy. Day 9. Koji tried this during a really brutal training session. His legs were screaming. His lungs were burning. His arms felt like lead. Old response: this is terrible. I can't do this. I want to stop. This shouldn't be this hard. New response: this is discomfort. It's here. I accept it. The feelings didn't disappear, but his energy didn't crash. He kept going for another hour. Day 10. Hideaki taught him the deeper rule. Resistance isn't just about physical discomfort. It's about reality itself. You resist the weather. You resist your training partner's skill level. You resist the difficulty of a technique. You resist your own limitations. And every single resistance is an energy drain. So I should just accept everything? Accepting isn't giving up. It's seeing clearly. If it's raining, you can resist it. It shouldn't be raining, I hate rain, and waste energy. Or you can accept it, it's raining. That's reality. How do I train in rain? And keep your energy. That's completely different. That's completely different from how I've been living. Most people spend 80% of their mental energy fighting reality, wishing things were different, complaining about what is, resisting what can't be changed. Warriors can't afford that luxury. Reality is reality. Accepting it isn't weakness. It's intelligence. Day 11. Koji faced his biggest test yet. He sparred with Dai, a senior student who was clearly way better than him. In the past, Koji would have been frustrated, resentful, and exhausted by the gap between them. This time he thought, Dai is better than me. That's reality. I accept it. What can I learn? The match was just as hard, but Koji wasn't drained by it. He watched. He learned. He accepted the hits he couldn't avoid. And by the end, he wasn't exhausted. He was energized by the learning. You just did something most students take years to learn, Hideaki said. You stopped comparing. You stopped resisting the gap between where you are and where you want to be. That resistance exhausts more people than any physical training ever could. Day 12. Hideaki explained the science behind it. When you resist what is, your nervous system thinks it's a threat. A threat triggers a stress response. The stress response floods you with hormones meant for brief, intense danger. But you're activating that system constantly. Every time you resist traffic, every time you resist criticism, every time you resist discomfort, Every time you resist reality, your body is in permanent stress mode. No wonder you're exhausted. So accepting reality tells my nervous system, no threat. Everything is as it should be. The stress response shuts down. Energy reserves build back up. I operate from a calm state. Rest, digest, restore, even while training hard? Yes. Day 13, the compound drill. 2 hours of non-stop forms under the afternoon sun. Brutal. Koji noticed his mind. This is hard. It's hot. I'm tired. Those were facts. He accepted them. Then he noticed, this shouldn't be this hard. Why is it so hot? I hate being tired. Those were resistances. He let them go. The drill continued. He stayed present, accepted difficulty, conserved energy. By the end, he was tired but not destroyed. Day 14. Hideaki gave the summary. The second rule, resistance creates exhaustion. Most of your fatigue doesn't come from work. It comes from fighting reality while you work. The student who accepts difficulty stays energized. The student who resists difficulty gets crushed. Same work, completely different outcomes. This rule is yours now. Tomorrow we begin the third rule. Stillness generates power. Chapter 4. The third principle, stillness generates power. Days 15 to 21. Stillness training. Modern training, Hideaki said, worships constant motion. More repetitions, more intensity, more action. This creates warriors who are always empty, always running on fumes, always one step from collapse. But isn't constant training necessary? Constant training is necessary. Constant motion is not. Watch. Hideaki stood perfectly still, completely motionless. Not a single unnecessary movement. What do you notice? He asked. You're completely still. And how does my energy feel to you? Koji observed. Hideaki's presence filled the space. Powerful, contained, like a coiled spring. You feel full, concentrated. Exactly. This is the third rule. Stillness generates power. Most people leak energy through unnecessary movement, unnecessary speech, and unnecessary mental activity. The warrior who masters stillness stops the leaks, builds reserves, becomes a battery instead of a leaky bucket. But we're training. We have to move. Of course. But watch this. Hideaki performed a form. Every movement was necessary. Every movement was precise. Zero wasted motion. Zero unnecessary tension. Between strikes, perfect stillness. Then he had a younger student perform the same form. The student was good, but Koji saw the difference now. Constant tiny adjustments. Fidgeting. Tension in the face and shoulders. Wasted micro-movements. Same form, Hideaki said. My version, 30% energy use. His version, 80% energy use. The difference? Stillness between movements. Economy of motion. No leaks. Day 15. Koji started stillness training. 5 minutes of sitting. Not meditating on his breath. Just being completely still. It was torture. His nose itched. He wanted to scratch. His back hurt. He wanted to adjust. His mind wanted to move, do something, anything. But he stayed still. What you're experiencing, Hideaki explained later, is your nervous system's addiction to stimulation. Modern life has trained you to need constant input, constant motion, constant distraction. Stillness feels like death to your nervous system. But it's actually life. It's restoration. It's power building. Day 16. Hideaki taught the theory. Your nervous system has 2 modes. Sympathetic and parasympathetic. Sympathetic is action. Fight, flight, or perform. Parasympathetic is restoration. Heal, digest, rebuild. Most warriors spend 90% of their time in sympathetic mode. They never fully restore, so they drain their reserves constantly. And stillness activates parasympathetic mode. Even while training, When you can be completely still in body and mind between techniques, you're recharging while you work. This is the secret of 12-hour training days. Not superhuman endurance. Strategic stillness. Day 17. Koji applied this during training. Between form repetitions, he stopped completely. No fidgeting. No adjusting. No mentally planning the next rep. Just stillness. The difference was shocking. After 2 hours, he felt fresher than he'd felt after 30 minutes using his old approach. "You're learning," Hideaki said. "Your body is discovering that it can restore energy in the gaps. The spaces between action. That's where power accumulates." Day 18. The mental stillness lesson. "Physical stillness is obvious," Hideaki said. "Mental stillness is subtle. Watch your mind right now. What's happening?" Koji observed. Thoughts. Constant thoughts. Planning. Remembering. Judging. That's mental movement. And just like physical movement, it costs energy. Every thought is a small energy use. A mind that never stops thinking is a battery that never stops draining. "But I need to think." Do you? Right now, sitting here, do you need to think? Or is thinking just a habit? An addiction? Koji realized most of his thinking was unnecessary, repetitive, habitual, not solving problems, just noise. This is why meditation traditions emphasize stillness, Hideaki continued. Not because thinking is bad, but because most thinking is waste. And learning to still your mind, even for brief moments, allows energy to rebuild. Day 19. The integration. Hideaki had Koji perform a complex drill, but between each repetition, Koji practiced complete stillness, physical and mental, body motionless, mind quiet, just presence. The drill that used to exhaust him in 20 minutes, he now performed for 90 minutes with energy to spare. "This is it," Hideaki said, smiling. "This is the third rule showing itself. You're generating power in stillness, using it in action, then returning to stillness to regenerate. This is sustainable mastery." Day 20. Hideaki explained the final integration. The 3 rules work together. Rule 1. Energy follows attention. You control attention, you control energy flow. Unified attention means minimal waste. Rule 2. Resistance creates exhaustion. You accept reality, you stop the constant energy drain of fighting what is. Rule 3. Stillness generates power. You master stillness, you create energy surplus between actions. Combined, these 3 create something extraordinary. A warrior who never runs out of energy, not because they have more than others, but because they waste nothing. Day 21. The test. 12 hours of continuous training. The same program that had destroyed Koji 3 weeks ago. This time, he kept his attention unified throughout. He accepted every difficulty without resistance. He practiced stillness in every gap. At hour 12, instructor Hideaki asked, "How do you feel?" Koji checked his body, his mind, his energy levels. "I feel fine." "Tired?" "Yes, but not empty. I could continue." Hideaki bowed. "Then you've learned what took me 20 years to discover. Energy isn't physical. It's psychological. Master your mind, you master your energy. These 3 rules are yours now. Use them forever." Chapter 5. Modern Application. Years later, Koji became an instructor. Koji stood before a new group of young samurai. Some looked exhausted already. He recognized the pattern immediately. "How many of you feel tired all the time?" he asked. Every hand went up. "How many of you believe the solution is to rest more, sleep more, do less?" Most hands went up. "You're all wrong," Koji said. "Your exhaustion isn't from doing too much. It's from managing your energy incorrectly. Let me show you what I mean." He had them perform a simple form, then asked, "Where was your attention during that movement?" "On the movement," one student said. "Was it? Or was it on whether you were doing it correctly? On whether I was watching?" On comparing yourself to the person next to you? On the mistake you made yesterday? The students looked uncomfortable. They knew he was right. Your attention was scattered across a dozen things. That means your energy was scattered across a dozen things. Result: exhaustion from a simple movement. This is how you live. This is why you're tired. He taught them the 5-minute breath practice. Watching attention wander, bringing it back. This seems pointless, one student said. I know, Koji replied. I thought the same thing. But try it consistently for 7 days and tell me if your energy changes. Science means doing the experiment and watching the results, not having opinions before trying. Then he taught acceptance. Tomorrow during training, notice every time you resist reality. Every time you think, this shouldn't be this hard, or why is it so hot, or I shouldn't be this tired. Notice those thoughts. They're energy leaks. Reality is what it is. Accepting it costs nothing. Resisting it costs everything. Finally, stillness. Modern culture worships being busy, constant motion, constant productivity. This is exhausting. The ancient way was different. Intense action followed by complete stillness. That rhythm creates sustainable energy. You can't keep your sympathetic nervous system activated forever. You need parasympathetic restoration. Stillness provides that. One student asked, but how does this apply outside training? To daily life? Everything, Koji said. Watch yourself at work, at home, during conversations. Notice, energy follows attention. Are you fully present in what you're doing? Or is your mind scattered across 12 concerns? Scattered attention equals constant energy leak. Resistance creates exhaustion. Are you fighting traffic while sitting in it? Are you resentful of your boss while working for him? Are you wishing your life were different while living it? Every resistance equals energy drain. Stillness generates power. Can you sit without checking your phone? Can you stand in line without fidgeting? Can you be alone with your thoughts without distraction? Stillness equals energy regeneration. Master these 3 and you master your energy anywhere, anytime. Chapter 6. The Science. Modern neuroscience proves ancient wisdom. Rule 1. Energy follows attention. Research by MIT brain scientist Earl Miller confirms the brain can only truly focus on one thing at a time. What we call multitasking is actually rapid attention switching. Each switch costs energy. Studies show single-task focus equals 100% efficiency. Minimal tiredness. Multitasking equals 40% efficiency. Maximum tiredness. Attention restoration theory proves focused attention drains more slowly than divided attention. The samurai discovered this through experience. Science now proves it through experiments. Rule 2. Resistance creates exhaustion. Stanford psychologist Kelly McGonigal's research on stress shows the same stressor produces completely different physical responses depending on your mental interpretation. Stressor plus resistance equals cortisol spike, immune suppression, energy depletion. Stressor plus acceptance equals minimal cortisol, immune function maintained, energy preserved. The samurai practice of accepting difficulty wasn't just philosophy. It was nervous system optimization. Rule 3. Stillness generates power. Harvard Heart Dr. Herbert Benson's research on the relaxation response demonstrates brief periods of mental and physical stillness activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which lowers heart rate, decreases blood pressure, reduces cortisol, and rebuilds energy reserves. Elite athletes now use this. They call it recovery optimization. Samurai called it stillness practice. Same biology, different words. The integration. Modern research confirms that energy management is primarily psychological, not physical. Your nervous system responds to your mental state. Control your mental state. Attention, acceptance, stillness, and you control your energy. This is why ancient warriors could train 12 hours daily. Not superhuman genetics. Optimized psychology. Chapter 7. Your practice. The 3 rules integrated into daily practice. Morning, 5-minute sit. Watch your breath. When attention wanders, bring it back. This trains unified attention. Do this before any important activity. You're teaching your brain to focus. During activity, ongoing notice when you resist reality. Traffic, difficult people, challenging tasks, your own limitations. When you catch yourself resisting, consciously accept. This is reality. I accept it. Now what do I do? This isn't giving up. It's conserving energy for solutions instead of wasting it on complaints. Between activities, micro breaks practice complete stillness. 30 seconds. No phone checking. No fidgeting. No mental planning. Just present. Still. This activates parasympathetic restoration. Brief but powerful. Evening. 5 minutes sit again. Watch your breath. Notice what you learned today about your energy patterns. Where did you waste energy? Where did you conserve it? This builds awareness. Weekly practice. 1 day per week. Notice your attention, resistance, and stillness all day long. Make it an experiment. Can I keep unified attention during this conversation? Can I accept this difficulty without resisting? Can I be still while waiting? This isn't about perfection. It's about awareness. The more you notice these patterns, the more you can change them. Long term, these 3 rules become automatic. You won't need to consciously apply them. Your nervous system will optimize itself. You'll naturally focus attention, accept reality, and practice stillness. That's when you become like the old masters, training for 12 hours with infinite energy. Not because you're superhuman, because you've stopped wasting energy on psychological patterns that don't serve you. Ending. The truth. Energy isn't something you're born with or without. It's something you manage or mismanage. Most people mismanage it catastrophically. Scattered attention, bleeding energy constantly. Constant resistance, fighting reality nonstop. Zero stillness, zero restoration, zero regeneration. Result: chronic exhaustion. Not from doing too much, from managing energy incorrectly. The 3 rules fix this. Energy follows attention. Unify your focus. Stop the leaks. Resistance creates exhaustion. Accept what is. Stop the drain. Stillness generates power. Rest strategically. Build reserves. This is what separates ancient warriors who trained all day from modern people who are tired after 8 hours of sitting. Not genetics. Not superhuman ability. Psychology. Nervous system optimization. Energy management. The question isn't whether these rules work. They do. Science proves it. History proves it. Your own experience will prove it if you actually practice. The question is, will you use them? Or will you continue with scattered attention, constant resistance, and zero stillness, wondering why you're always exhausted? The samurai showed the way 400 years ago. The way still works. The rules haven't changed. Your nervous system hasn't changed. What has to change is your awareness, your practice, your daily choices about where attention goes, how you respond to difficulty, and whether you ever practice stillness. Start with 5 minutes tomorrow morning. Watch your breath. Notice attention wanders. Bring it back. That's the beginning. The rest unfolds naturally. Master your energy. Master your life.